All right, guys, we got something else to talk about. Carmelo Anthony, he has something to say about what the Spurs should do with their next coaching situation. So, as we all know this, right? Greg Popovich is going to retire. All right, we don't actually know that, but I'm going to make the assumption that he's going to retire from being a coach and he's going to just go to our front office full time. Now, me personally, okay, I'll give you my opinion on all different angles, right? As a human being, I've said this since the stroke was announced. I just want him to be okay, and I can care less on how many games that we win. If Popovich is okay and the Spurs lose all of their games in a season, that's more important, right? I will value a human being, and I think Pop is a good human being. I think you can't just say human being, right? I think I will value a good human being over anything, right? Like I do not care. I just want him to be all right. So do I think that our best chance of winning is Pop? Of course. Like, Pop is the GOAT, right? But at the same time, I do want him to just be okay. All right. But then I also look at it, as a fan angle, right? As a fan, there's a lot of uncertainty, and I'm sure there's a lot of questions in the locker room a little bit on what this would look like. Like, will Popovich be with the team the whole season? Are we going to constantly be worried on, not getting them too worked up? Because we know Pop will get worked up, right? He does not play. He will get worked up. And I've heard people's arguments for this as well, saying, well, as you get older, obviously, like, you want to keep going, right? You don't want to just stand still. It actually helps you live longer to keep going and do what you enjoy doing. I'm completely with you on that. I'm just hoping that it doesn't have to be as the coach on the sidelines, and he can still be heavily involved. And he can't be too involved. I probably don't need to say he can't be too involved. He can't get in the coach's business, right? But being a listening ear, showing up to practices every now and then, just say, hey, that type of stuff, right? Still be involved around the basketball team and still be contributing to the basketball team in some capacity. I'm hoping that we can just do that, right? As a fan, it is a lot of uncertainty. So as a human, I don't want him. I want him to just be okay. Whatever that looks like, I just want him to be okay. And then as a fan, I think we should look for a new coach, right? So with that being said, Carmelo Anthony apparently talked about Mike Malone. I saved it here. I did not watch it. Someone sent this to me. But I like to live react. So let's see what he had to say. I can just see right here. Spurs should scoop Michael Malone. Okay.
If I'm San Antonio, I'm going to get Mike Malone. I would love to see him get a job ASAP. San Antonio should be talking to him. That's a great conversation. The San Antonio culture. You know what I mean? You done took that and implemented that into Denver. You got another generational player. You got a future all-star on your team and Stephon Castle. You get Darren Fox over there with you. Get some draft picks. They might get Cooper.
San Antonio is a unique situation. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, he just straight up said we need to go after Mike Malone. So like I said, one thing that kind of bothers me, I'll just be real with you. This is my take on it, and if someone can convince me out of it, I'm always open to listen. Okay, when I'm presented new information, I can change my beliefs. Right, if it's good factual information, I can change my beliefs on things. But my belief right now is that all of the people putting Mike Malone under the bus and saying, well, and there's a lot of Nuggets fans, probably coping, to be real. But a lot of people saying, well, he lost the locker room. Well, he just wasn't the guy for the team. They just didn't have it together. And it's all his fault. I'm just not bought in on that. Okay. I will always give a coach the benefit of the doubt, especially when they win a championship. I think that that's a good enough benefit of the doubt. And also, some of the things that Mike and people use as examples to say, see, he lost the team. Some of the things that they bring up, or some of the clips that they bring up from his press conferences, just kind of make me scratch my head, right? There's people bringing up how he was very forceful when saying, and he said this himself, hey, you need to watch film. But hey, guys would just say, hey, you're just tripping, right? Your coach just tripping. And I'm like, no, you need to go watch film. I think that that's an issue with drafting. I think that's an issue with free agency. I think that's an issue with the front office, right? If you're bringing guys that don't fit the ideology of your coach. Now, coaches have to adjust, right? You can't just be too stern. I mean, that's why Rick Carlisle eventually lost his job. Luka Doncic was not having it, right? So you have to be a little bit lenient. And another thing that people have brought up about Malone is they said, well, he gives way too much playing time to his vets. We all know that we get a little irritated, or we got irritated when Pop would do that as well. Like we didn't really like that. We were like, hey, let the young guys play a little bit more. But also, I mean, we can say, well, he's given too many minutes to Westbrook, but Westbrook did play well with Jokic, so I don't quite understand that either. I'm just not bought in on Mike Malone being this awful coach and the Nuggets were in the right. And you know, another reason why I really think that they were in the wrong, another reason why I give them even more benefit of the doubt. Why the heck would you fire your coach right before the playoffs? Like that just screams to me. Honestly, I think that just screams to me a front office don't know what they're doing, right? That's a huge disconnect. Now, not only is it disrespect, it's for a guy who's been there that long and brought you a championship. It's a huge disconnect. It's a whole different beast you're dealing with right here. For you to get rid of your coach right before the playoffs, for you to make such a wild decision right before I just wouldn't be surprised if you made other mistakes in other areas, or you've been kind of disrespectful towards this coach to begin with, or you just didn't know what the team needed, or you put it upon yourself, which a lot of front offices do, put it upon themselves, not communicating with the coach at all as far as the type of players that we're going to be bringing to this team. This is our direction. This is our vision. We don't care what your vision is. That's just what it feels like to me. I couldn't fathom the San Antonio Spurs doing that to any coach. To any coach. I cannot imagine them doing that right before the playoffs. I can't imagine any competent front office doing that. So it makes me scratch my head when it comes to the Nuggets, man. Like maybe something isn't right. And then on top of it, them getting rid of the GM too. It's just like, I don't know. You needed a scapegoat with the coach or something, you know. But if he lost that locker room because he just needs them to take the game serious, I think that's a personnel issue. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it'll be great. Popovich is a type that he can adjust quite a bit, but that's like bare minimum what you need as a player, right? You want them to be able to take it serious, watch film, be professionals. And if he's not getting that, maybe he's just in the wrong environment, right? Doesn't mean the Nuggets can't win with guys like that, but they're not going to gel with a coach that doesn't like that. The Golden Nuggets don't have a new coach or tactics, and 2 games don't prove anything. Yeah, it's ridiculous, bro. I'm surprised Denver can hold on to number 4. That roster should be in the play-in. Good thing they have Jokic. Yeah, that helps. But I agree with Carmelo. I don't think you want to miss out on this opportunity. Taylor Jenkins is one that I really like. I really like him. But Mike Malone being right there, I mean, you got to figure something out. We got to see what's going on. But I'm sure Pop, if anything happens, Spurs not going to disrespect Pop. I'm sure Pop will be the one to give them that phone call, say, hey, you want to coach my team? Like, he'll probably do that. Anyways, that's all I have to say about this one.